Thank you for listening to The Boze Knows, a podcast about QI Roberts Junior Senior High School in Putnam County, Florida. I'm your host, Mr. Boze, and today we will have our Ask Me Anything of our English department. Welcome and thank you for joining me today. Please introduce yourselves to our listeners.
Hey, this is Matt Bergen.
I'm Andy Belcher.
Katie Bergen.
Mary Jacobs.
Caitlin Bose.
Thanks, everybody, for joining me. So we start out the podcast with the same couple of questions. So the first one is, what is your favorite QI story or tradition?
Mr. Belcher only has 9.5 toes.
That's true. That's a true statement. I'm not sure. Is that a tradition? It's
Yeah.
a story.
It's just part of the culture.
It's a traditional story.
A traditional story, yeah. I think that man, pooped in the grate
Yeah, that.
is maybe my favorite story.
Yeah, I was not sure if I was going to bring that up, but thanks, Mr. Belcher, because yes, that would definitely be mine. It was like cat on a hot tin roof, but this was excrement on a hot metal grate. Favorite story of all time.
Props to Mr. Johnson. He does not get paid enough. I'm either going to have to go with the moldy oatmeal that Matt found in our closet or the day Miss Dowell found out what happens to the pigs on the ag farm. That was a good day.
I don't think I've heard that story.
Well, Courtney let her know, and she just quietly turned around and walked away mid-conversation. She was very shocked. It was a good day.
Oh, that is a rip right there.
When Katie will be with me on this one. So our copier in Building 6, we're all in the same building, and sometimes the screen goes on the print.
This is the Lindy story.
It just spazzes out, and so the biology teacher there at the time, Lindy Brokenhouse, with her tiny little fist, like Katie and I are right there, and she just
Like a thimble.
Yeah, she just punches it, which is like super normal. That's how you're supposed to fix it. But she punched it so hard, she shattered the screen. And I don't think Katie and I could breathe for like the hour after.
It was
that.
a Hulk smash.
We were dead. We were dead. That one's pretty good.
And she did feel bad about it, everyone out there.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was great.
I needed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is that enough?
I think that'll work.
I have.
Nobody brought up Miss Dowell playing the harp a few times. That was fairly... No.
I was moved by that.
Yeah, it was very
I
magical.
completely missed it. I
That
can't
touched
bring
my
middle
soul.
schoolers to anything. So
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
left. I just left. I mean, I wasn't supervising kids at the time.
Yeah.
So it's
I just
not
went at
legal,
lunch
but-
to catch in
Yeah.
on that, and the kids were just all in amazement.
Yeah, she let a few of them come up and play the harp, as I recall.
Pluck.
Yeah, they plucked the harp. It was impressive.
Yeah, that was a good. Or here's another good one. Andy has started. So Andy does not have hair on his head, and he has started to let the seniors paint his head for pep rallies. Like last time, they painted a minion. Or wait, they painted a minion one time.
They did that one time. I think the last time was like Santa stuff. It was, I believe, like a Santa Claus hat, maybe? I couldn't see it. It was on my head.
Santa stuff.
What are they going to do for spring?
Spring stuff.
I'm hoping they've forgotten.
A
about
nice
that
flower.
tradition.
No, yeah, we need to bring
for
that
sure,
back
the
up.
class flower.
Yeah,
Class
flower. Flower would be great. With a kite flying over it.
I think the seniors picked purple hibiscus, I think.
What is that?
What?
I don't know.
That sounds like
pick flowers.
That sounds like a Starbucks drink.
A purple hibiscus? That doesn't exist.
It would be one that you would drink, Ian.
Thanks.
From Panera. And it would have 0 sugar in it.
Because you're from Ohio.
Welcome to our world.
Actually, in Ohio, there would be like 100 million mgs of sugar.
You got stuck in the loop there for a minute, Miss Bose.
This is super useful.
So next question.
Just loving it.
Speaking of drinks that you can get from Starbucks, if you could have coffee with anyone dead or alive, who would it be and why?
I'll go first. It would be you, Ian Bose, because we're married.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that was pretty nice.
Yeah.
I would choose my grandmother. The only grandmother that I knew growing up, my mom's mom, Ruby Dolly Cheshire. She was just the coolest. Kentucky born and bred. And I told Andy, and this is not fake news, she could tear an apple in half with her bare hands. Yep, it's real.
She sounds scary.
She was the best. We called her Mo growing up. Not Meemaw or Grandma. Just Mo, M-O.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the grandmother thing. But it would not be my grandmother as I knew her, but I would like to have coffee with my grandmother as a young woman.
Oh, yeah.
Like when she was, because she came to the United States from Italy and after the Second World War, and like to be able to kind of know what that was like for her, like at the time it was happening. Like I would like to have that conversation with a young Elisabetta Rizzo, as her name was.
Rizzo.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right, you're up, Miss Bergen.
All eyes on me. I wouldn't mind having another cup of coffee with my dad. That'd be nice. We used to have afternoon coffee a lot.
Well, I guess since we're going the sentimental route, I'll pick my grandpa. He died about 5 years ago. And he he had like all of the best stories. He could just sit there and entertain you for hours.
Some great coffee conversations. So last question before we get to talking about English specifically is quality, integrity, respect. Which one and why?
I'm going to go with integrity. I feel like honesty is the best policy. And if we can get kids to be honest with us, then we can get the rest to come through eventually.
I think any of them are a great choice. For me, sometimes it seems like quality and integrity are kind of traits that are to be determined, whereas respect seems like one you can kind of show or put off right off the bat. So that's why I'd go with respect. It's pretty easy to put that forward right away.
I like respect also. I think that the other things are sort of predicated on respect to some degree. Like if you are respectful, you'd be more likely to show quality and integrity, perhaps.
Contrary perspective.
Mutual accountability.
No, I like it. I don't accept that. That's not part of the program. Integrity, because integrity is when like your words, actions, and values are in alignment. And if you're not matching your words, actions, and values, you're gonna do damage to yourself and others. Not maybe like physical damage, but like at some level, like on a relationship or a psychological or emotional level, things are gonna be weird. So integrity. I mean, respect's cool too.
Right. These are all
Plus
positive
one
traits.
SIBOs.
Yeah. One.
I agree with all of that.
I'm with you guys.
Mrs. Bergen approves, which is, what we're here for.
Alrighty, so let's get into the English department specific questions. I will say I was very disappointed in our listeners this time. We only had one submission that was, "How's y'all day going?"
It's a good question.
It sounds like it's going all right now.
It's been the longest short day of my life.
But a couple of questions that I have for us is, what's your story? How did you get into teaching? How did you end up here at QI?
Oof.
I'll go first, since I think I've been here the longest. So I was at a job fair at UF when I was finishing up my master's in English Ed, and then I saw Miss Dehart at a job. I mean, I didn't know that was Jana, but I was just passing out resumes, and this lady with spiky hair had my resume, and then like a week later, they gave me a call to come out there and look at the school, and then there was like a job fair that I was already at the time, and then they were just like, okay, cool. Come out and work there. And then awkwardly, I've just been here ever since. So that's my story. Done. I think, is that enough?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm basically starting to become part of the actual structure of the building.
We have to peel you off the wall every June so you can go home.
Yeah.
Like a crumpled piece of gum. Sorry.
It's not inaccurate. I accept your metaphor. Well, your simile is like or at.
Sorry.
For those of you reviewing for your fast test.
I worked at Palatka High School for a really long time. I was there for 18 years, I believe. And it was sort of random happenstance that I ended up in Putnam County at all. I went to school in Gainesville and taught in Ocala for a year, and then that position got cut. Like the resources were reallocated, and I needed a job, and they were hiring in Putnam County, and so I thought I would apply, and figured I'd spend a year or two maybe in Palatka, and then just also became sort of integrated into the literal building there, to the point where there was like a bench that I would sit on outside of my old classroom that I legitimately thought like they would sprinkle my ashes on that bench after I died, because it was just like that was what my life was. But then about 5 years ago, was it about 5 years ago?
Yeah, 5.
I ended up coming out here. Miss Wood, the principal at the time, had contacted me to say they were looking. I was actually Miss Rowe Knaus who contacted me first, and then I had worked with Miss Wood before, and they asked me to come out and take a look around, and I did, and here I am now.
My favorite thing that Andy did when Mr. Belcher did when he came to our school is our classrooms overlooked the beautiful field near the gym. And I went into his room and he was just staring out the window at the grass. And he was like, my old classroom didn't have a window. And then he was like, I need to make some copies. Do I need to go get my own paper? I was like, no, Andy, you can use all the paper you want.
No, we would have to buy our own paper. Like, we had to supply our own paper. So
all the paper you want, forever and always, Andy.
Yeah, well, that means a lot.
Window.
Thank you.
It's the little things.
You're so wholesome.
Oh, everybody's looking at me. My turn.
Well, you were next. I think we're just going in order of arrival.
Okay. Well, I arrived the same summer as Mr. Belcher, but my mom and her sister, my Aunt Kathy, they were both elementary school teachers, and so it's kind of the only thing I ever imagined myself doing, really. And so I taught elementary for a good long 17 years before coming out here, and I've always kind of followed my own children, and I'm so glad that they came out here, because I feel like I found a place to be for a good long bit into the sunset of my career.
How many more years?
10.
Not that you're counting.
And so I followed Mr. Bergen.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, he made it sound like this was the most awesome place. Not only in Putnam County, but in the world.
Yeah, the world.
So,
The globe.
yeah, so this is what, my 21st year?
Yeah.
21st? So the majority of that was spent in elementary. Left for a little bit, went and taught some GED classes. I really liked the older students, and it made me a little less fearful of giving secondary a try. So here I am.
Here I is.
And I'm loving it.
Wow, y'all should have not let me go last because my story is kind of boring. I just needed a job.
Yeah.
I was actually a nursing major before I picked English, and then I took exactly 2 weeks worth of nursing classes before I realized I hated it.
No,
And,
I could see you doing that.
Oh my gosh, no. Anyways, then I graduated and worked around the county for a year, and then stayed home for a while, and then needed a job, and this is what I found. And whenever I walked in, Matt and Caitlin were in there, and I'm pretty sure when Mr. Theobald called me and said, "Do you want the job?" I said, "Are you sure? Like, are you completely positive that I was the top pick?" So here I am, and I love it.
Woo!
Awesome. We're so glad that the 5 of you count for a second. I was like,
We'll let you decide.
We are the
which one
world's
we're not
weirdest
talking.
Yes.
the 5 of you are here with our as a part of our English department. So you all kind of hinted at different things, but what does QI mean to you?
It's a school.
Quintus Irving.
It's a school.
It means a lot to me, to be honest. Like I have found so much personally and professionally since I've come out here. It was a big jump for me, working in elementary for so long, and that I can't even stop talking about it. currently, right now. But I was so ingrained in that and didn't know how that would pan out, and just found a place out here, found great friends, found great support, and it's up and down. No job is perfect. There's no such thing. I don't believe that, but I definitely have more better days than I do have rough ones. And when the kids ask me, how much do you like teaching? I always tell them, I can guarantee you that I like teaching more than you like coming to school. So, yeah.
Very evident today, especially.
I'm going to agree with that. It does mean a lot because, like, this is the type of job that makes me want to do better in, like, every aspect of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just want to be a better educator, but I also just want to be a better person because I feel like everybody here just, like, strives for all of the things every single day.
Yeah, I know for me it's the first place that I've been professionally, and even going back before I was a teacher, like even as a student myself in high school or in college, like I've never been one with a personality of like, I don't know, a joiner, for lack of a better term. Like I went to UF, but I've never been to a football game, or I never had like, University of Florida t-shirts, and I kind of actively reacted against that kind of thing because it's just my personality. But here I have found a team that I really feel a part of that team, like as a person and as a teacher. And that has been like a marked shift in my life in a lot of ways. And I appreciate it a whole lot. As far as like academically for the students, it means it's very gratifying to see kids being able to kind of be who they are in a way that I don't think they would be able to be in some other locations. So yeah, I think this is a really special place.
And you have lots of QI shirts now.
I do, and I wear them, and I see like
He wears the t-shirt.
I would not have in other places.
Yeah, full confessional. I have an unnatural amount of QI Roberts t-shirts after so many years. Like at one point, I even just like put a bag of them in the teacher's lounge. It was just like, take some of these. But that's so yeah, QI Roberts to me is a source of apparel, really. But on a serious
helps me retain
note,
body warmth.
it helps me be clothed and to communicate. I like to label in case I get lost. It's really easy. Someone can just pick me up and take me to the QI Roberts.
Yeah, good.
Turn me around.
But on a serious note, I want to affirm what they said about like continuous improvement. I just feel like the people around me are just trying to do a good job. And in any kind of profession, it's nice to be with people that like care about the outcome. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever like had such a consistent team, even I've worked with great people throughout my career, but never a team that has lasted this long for me. And continues to be supportive and most importantly enjoyable. It's pretty special, pretty magic.
It is. And it was magic for our kids. I mean, we've had two of our own personal children, Mr. Bergen and I, go through school here and graduate, and they're happy and productive people, and they were given many opportunities. And so from a parent's perspective, I'm grateful for this school. And so their experience, that was part of my decision as well as to come here. So it's a good place.
QI. It's a good place.
I like that. It's good.
That's
motto.
The new slogan.
I like the simplicity of it.
So each of you has a different background, comes to QI from a different place, has different experiences because you've had kids here or been here a long time or whatever. What do you think is an important misconception people have about QI?
I can jump in on that one for sure. I mean, so many people think this is some academic elitist place, and I would just challenge anyone with that misconception to step on campus and just look. We are just serving the kids of Putnam County in a way that allows some of these kids to find their tribe and to find their home, and more important, or not more importantly, but just as importantly, finding their tribe, finding their home, finding their clique is also finding continued success within the program, within the groups of teachers. And I don't know, I think there's a huge misconception about what our population looks like and feels like and seems like.
I would jump on that and agree with it. In my experience working with students, families, and also like other Cambridge program teachers, we think Cambridge is like this like super hard thing only for like genius big brain kids. But Cambridge internationally is just school. Do I think the exams are rigorous, and do I think the expectations are high? Yes, but like around the world, Cambridge is just school. You might not be taking Cambridge in every subject, but like Cambridge is just school. And likewise, Cambridge International as an organization, they do really emphasize the need to support the kids who need it and to challenge the kids who need that as well. And so I've been trying to bring that ethic to my own work. And I think the folks at this weird, what did you call it earlier? An overturned Mars rover with me. This is beautiful, though.
Check out Student Government on Instagram for the pictures of what they're talking about.
You did a beautiful job, Ian. I
like the binding around this piece.
I support and encourage you. But overall, I just want to echo what Matt said. Like, do we expect things of children? Yes. But Cambridge overall, and thus our school, especially in ELA, we're all about active learning, assessment for learning, and just helping our kids be reflective enough, not literally reflective, like shining light back, but like engaged in metacognition, that is thinking about thinking, if you want a good SAT vocab word, engaged in metacognition enough to where I don't need to tell them all the time where they're at. They know where they're at, which is much more powerful than me like telling them all the time, because I'm not going to be there forever, even if they feel like I am. Word.
Anybody else have anything they want to chime in and add?
I think that covers it pretty well in terms of just this notion of the elitist academy kind of.
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, it's so far from that.
Which is real silly. Like, you don't have to spend more than just a tiny little bit of time out here to see that it's we're just doing the best we can for the kids who come out here. And the kids who come out here are just kids like any other kids.
Yep.
And,
Just Putnam County kids.
Yeah. We had a dog briefly join our school
That's
campus,
right.
and we were totally cool with it.
When he left, he could talk.
Yeah. So we
amazing.
really
with
are
a British accent.
whoever you are, wherever you're at, we got you.
All hail the queen.
Actually, isn't it?
Oh, king.
God save.
My bad.
Oh,
Mary.
God save the queen.
That's
My bad.
how far removed we are from the mothership. I don't even know.
They're gonna come.
You'll be back. Sorry.
Are you gonna kick us out?
No.
That's what he sang. He said, "You'll be back." Sorry. No Hamilton. No more Hamilton.
Yeah, we can't sing too much. We may get flagged for copyright infringement.
It's true. It's true. Especially with how well that sounded.
So, next question: as teachers, as people of QI, what advice or recommendations would you give to students who are new to QI, whether they're seventh graders or whether they transfer in at some point later on in their career? Like, what would be the thing that you'd want to share with them?
When your instructor provides you with time during the class day to do your work, I really recommend doing your work, because you're going to find that the time beyond class instruction is far more open for fun activities that are not school. That's just a thought. I'm not trying to impose any restrictions or like force my view on the youth, but like, just like when they give you time to do it, just do it.
Does your
My seniors know, they'll tell you. They'll tell you if they have homework for me, it's because they made a very specific choice.
Does your thought also come with a question and a quote?
Wow, that's a lot to follow up with. Question and quote?
I'm stop now.
Anybody else have any recommendations that they would give to a new QI student?
I would say just get to know your instructor and also get to know your course, especially if you're transferring in high school. You're going to be in some specific courses that have specific requirements and might even be a blend of state requirements or the Cambridge ACE exam requirements. So don't just come in and kind of wait for that information to come. Try to figure out that information as soon as possible. The quicker you understand the progression of things, better you'll be off, because we all understand it. Yep. And we all work closely together and kind of understand each other's what's feeding what. So just figure that out.
The more information can be found on the course catalog located on QI's website.
So much fun.
Well, and I think also just for any student who's out here, whether they're new to the school or they're just kind of figuring things out, kind of getting a sense of who you're comfortable working with, like as an instructor, like the notion there's a lot of resources available to a student, and the people out here are willing to help out in whatever capacity that they can, and just finding a place that feels comfortable and more like home, and those people that you want to work with, just spend time there and kind of develop those relationships and enjoy that time. About the best I can do.
Use your power hour.
Good.
For not running around like a crazy person.
Yeah.
Or if you need to do that, and do it then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just wear deodorant.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I would say,
Spoken
especially
like a true middle
middle
school
school
teacher.
teacher, yeah. I would say, because I do teach primarily middle school, I would say just keep swimming, because a lot of times you think you can't do it and it gets difficult. And you don't want to do it because you've never had to really apply that much thought process to anything before. Just keep going, because it's going to be better in the end. And eventually you're going to realize how it's going to help you out in your future.
That's the best one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
All great advice and a great one to end on. The last question I have is, I need all of you to go back in time and... Well, a weird time travel, because you're going to be here.
I closed my eyes,
but
and
you're
you
going to
laughed.
stay here. If you were a student at QI right now,
Mm-hmm.
what would you be involved in? We've got a lot to do here at QI, a lot of extracurriculars, a lot of co-curriculars. What would you be involved in?
I'm almost certain I would be spending a lot of time in Mr. Bergen's room doing the media studies stuff. I'd be interested in music stuff and just kind of hanging out over on that side of things with the videos and all that. That would be where I was, certainly.
In high school, I didn't do anything other than just try to pretend like I was cool to my friends. I was not part of anything, not a single sport, not a single club. The only thing I ever did was journalism as a freshman and had to sell newspapers, and that got marked as a club, even though it was just a class they put me in, which I did like. But not until my senior year, and we had like a senior show, and I did that, and then I regretted not being a part of things and being too cool for stuff. So now I would find anything that anyone I remotely knew was part of and join them in doing it. It wouldn't even matter to me. I just want to be part of things or some things, or just because you get to be with cool people, you get to hang out with your friends. You know what I mean? I think that's the big thing, is you don't realize that joining a club or being a part of something is being part of a special group. This little group that is feels good to belong to sometimes. That was rambling, sorry.
That's a really difficult question for me, because I feel like there's so many things that you can learn. Like, I just started helping with Interact, and I feel like that teaches you how to be like a good citizen and like how to be a kind person. But then I also love that like we have student government that helps you like learn how to like organize things and do events and like be a part of like something, not necessarily with power, but like something that you can kind of lead. But I also would have loved to have been a part of our debate team where it teaches you confidence and like all of these things that, you know, you can take on in the years to come. So that's a really difficult question for me to answer.
I think that's what's kind of cool here is it's safe to try and not feel obligated. You know, you test the waters and see, is this a fit for me? Whereas I think that was the misconception for me in high school was that I would try something, realize it wasn't for me, and then feel like a jerk for backing out of it. And so I just would avoid trying anything. Whereas it seems like here there's so much to be a part of or to try out that you have that option without having to back out.
Right.
I think I would do like, this is weird because I coach it, but I do like haiku and academic team because that's what I did when I was a very unlovable teen. That's what I did. And that's where I found like all my friends and stuff like that. So like haiku, academic team, and like even the kids I have in that now, like they all come from very different grade levels and backgrounds, but like there is like a weird community because we travel so much together. It's like kind of nice. So I guess I would be with myself. I don't know. The time travel is very complex in this question.
It is.
I'm gonna have some feedback when we head back home.
Well, I had related the anecdote to some of my students just very recently that when I was in high school, the only club I attempted to join was the National Honor Society. And my application was rejected to the National Honor Society, despite meeting all of the requirements to be in the National Honor Society, seemingly because whoever was in charge of it just didn't like me that much as a person.
That's wrong.
I was a very nice boy, I would add.
It was the 10-toe bias.
Yeah. Well,
I
he
had
still
all my
had
toes then.
his
Oh,
toes
okay,
were
sorry.
intact back then.
That was
It's because he
before
wouldn't wear the t-shirt.
the lawnmower incident. Maybe I wasn't that nice of a boy, honestly. But the kids here are sweet enough that after having related that anecdote, this very year, a bunch of them made me an honorary member of the National Honor Society.
that's cute.
So, yes, it was very sweet. It was very, very sweet.
Yeah.
Andy would be in NHS.
Yes, I would be in NHS. And now I am.
Yeah, now you
Now you
are.
are.
Yes.
Time travel.
That's cute.
Yeah.
That's so
You're HNHS. Honorary.
Honorary.
And it's more like AARP at this point.
Oh, well, I would do chorus. I did chorus in high school. It was fun. I did cheering. Can't really do that here. But, I don't know.
You can cheer at the Gaga Pit.
I can cheer the Gaga Pit. Yeah.
That's true.
There's always Powder Puff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Drama.
that's
I was
true.
into musical theater in high school. I did some of Mr. P's shows. So I think the drama club or drama class would be fun. Yeah. Maybe color guard. I don't know. I like to dance. We have that.
Like
going
spin
on here.
things.
Rifles.
Yeah.
Flags.
I like to spin rifles. Can you put that in the podcast?
I think we can put that in the podcast.
I mean, I'm saying that ironically. I don't
They
like
also
to spin anything.
sabers
Yikes! That's scary.
Spears.
and air blades. Not spears. Not-
Flags. Yeah, they're spears with a flag on them. Sorry, I'll stop.
Alrighty. Well, it's been great having you all here. Before I let you go, though, I have one last question. I have high expectations.
You said that before.
That's a
Given-
lie. I feel tricked.
Given that you're English teachers,
There's a distinction between appearance and reality.
this is my podcast, so I can do whatever I want.
Ooh.
She's your wife. She makes the rules.
All right, just hurry
Continue.
it up. We all want to.
Before I let you go, do you have any media recommendations for our listeners? Books, podcasts, TV shows, anything? And you cannot recommend reading the books for your own classes.
This is really high pressure because our jobs are books
Yeah.
and like other things, and this is scary.
It could be TV shows. It could be YouTube channels. It doesn't have to be books.
I recommend Thomas and Friends. That's all
JJ
we
the
watch.
jet plane.
Yeah, that's all we're really watching at the Bose household is
Honestly, Bluey is like the best.
actually, yeah, that's actually a
Bluey's
pretty good
legit.
recommendation. If you haven't seen that, it's like a bunch of like Australian cattle dogs, but like as a family.
Oh,
And
I would like that.
yeah, that's pretty good. Here, let me open my Goodreads.
Don't give up on Jeopardy either, everybody. Keep watching.
Ooh.
Keep watching.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Oh, here's for my college goings, my juniors that are thinking about college. Who gets in and why? A year inside college admissions, Jeffrey Salingo. I also did listen to the Prince Harry audiobook Spare, which was a weird listen and very long. I think I've provided enough time.
Who
for
narrated?
everyone to Prince Harry.
Oh, he did.
And like there's some passages that I just can't believe he like put into a book and like
Yeah.
sold the book.
Yeah.
But I listened to like all like 800 hours of it. And
Yeah.
I don't really know why I did that, but I did. And now we're here. So what else, guys? Jeopardy,
Yeah.
Bluey.
I'm trying to think of
Thompson
anything
Friends.
G that I could recommend currently right now.
Any PBS show.
Oh, yeah.
Finding Your Roots.
I mean, the Wednesday
Oh, yes.
show
Oh.
has been recommended.
Antique
so-
Roadshow.
No, Finding Your Roots on PBS,
Great.
those lately have been super moving.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a great one.
Is that the one where he like does the genetics tests and find out
Oh,
he's predisposed for
Yeah, they do
Alzheimer's
like
Well,
or
celebrities.
something?
Yeah, all kinds of different stuff. It is really well put together. I'll tell you one that is on, I think it's on Pluto TV. It originally was AMC, and it's kind of, I love travel, narrated travel docs.
Mm-hmm.
And like I loved Anthony Bourdain, and I thought he was a great writer, great narrator, and just really took us through beautiful places. There's one on Pluto that, like I said, originally was on AMC and is fairly friendly to everyone. It's called Ride with Norman Reedus, and it's Daryl from The Walking Dead,
Mm-hmm.
and he meets up with famous people. They take rides through different parts of the world, country. And I don't know. It's just, I love travel documentaries.
Yeah, that Kitchen Confidential, the Bourdain
Yeah.
book is fantastic. I mean, it's not like school appropriate,
Right.
but it's really well put together. If you're into aggressive black metal, the new Ulthar albums are really good. It's about 80 minutes, split into 2 albums. It's not a double LP though; it's 2 different albums. One of them is 2 tracks. It's 40 minutes long. It's almost unlistenable, and I love it.
They're gonna learn some really weird things about us with this podcast.
Yeah, that's all right.
Kids are always like, "What kind of music do you like, Mrs. Bose? What kind of music do you like?" And then, like, eventually, when I like need to regain their interest, I'm just like, "Okay, if you really want to know, I love like, girl, get in my truck, kind of like country music. Like, I don't know what's wrong.
And Crank That Soldier Boy is one of your all-time favorites.
That's not true. That's fake news. That's not real. That's not. But that song was like in its peak when I was like teenage.
Oh.
And they made all the teachers, I remember at a pep rally, they made all the teachers go onto the field and like do that dance. And I'll do some dances, but that's my line.
Nah,
I will
nobody's
not
going to
do
Crank That
that.
Soldier Boy.
I will not do that. And that is not my favorite song.
And I'm the opposite. I'll listen to anything except country.
Oh.
Sorry.
Haters going to hate.
Sorry.
Jeez. All right.
If I had to pick, I'd go with jazz, Frank Sinatra. You know.
This is a weird note to end on. You.
Yeah, it is.
That's what Katie's got to... You gotta
gotta
wrap it up with
bring it
like
back,
bring it
bring it
home.
back
She
to
was
the
like-
book.
she's
She
on
had finally
she's on
relaxed.
OBX right now with Lucas. She's been watching The Leftovers. What else?
I like how we're not recommending books. Like we're
I
just, like,
recommended
going-
I-
The
Okay,
Murdoch
there you go.
Murders.
Oh,
documentary,
yeah,
Netflix.
yeah. She's a big
Yeah.
documentary
I like
lady.
those. And Taylor Swift.
Some show that my daughter likes to watch in which they make cakes that look like other things, and I don't know what it's called, and I'm not sure why it exists.
It's like
But
dessert
There's
imposters.
so
Something
many of
like
those.
that. Yeah, I don't.
I like the one
that's
nailed.
blown up.
Isn't it? Is
Yeah.
it cake?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is
Yeah,
it cake?
probably.
I like
'Cause they
one.
ask that
What is
question
it? Nailed
frequently.
it. Where like it's
Oh, I
like
love
it's like
Nailed
they
It.
like do like there's like this one good version of it, and then the people make like the terrible.
Yeah.
That's what I would be on.
Yeah.
Or I'd be on like what not to wear. But that's the story for another day.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Listeners, if you like the podcast, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you can get future episodes, and be sure to give QI Roberts Student Government a follow on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date on future episodes and happenings around QI. If you feel we've earned it, please rate and review us on your podcast player of choice and share with a friend.
Thank you, Knights, and remember, excellence in all endeavors.